Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Brought to you by Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today's show is... today's guitar is a special guitar that I've been holding back for about 2.5 months. This is a guitar I got part in trade, and then trade back, and then trade again. If you remember that issue I had with the Gibson Les Paul Studio, the guy didn't like it. He said the sound was too muddy. So I took that guitar back and traded him for a Fender American Strat, and then he gave me 2 more guitars, that Ibanez Ergodyne bass and another BC Rich guitar. No, another Ibanez guitar. 2 Ibanez guitars. It's that 7-string. But the initial guitar we were trading was this guitar, which is a 2005 BC Rich, the Dagger. One of my favorite BC Riches of all time. I have what I believe is the largest collection of BC Riches in the entire U.S., at the very least on the West Coast. And I know for a fact I have the largest collection of the Daggers. I even have some Daggers that are prototypes, and some that were specially built for the NAMM show. So I have some in different colors and slightly different variations and whatnot. So it's a pretty neat guitar. I was going to do this guitar on Valentine's Day, but I was really bad with my back. You know, that's when all the cold weather and rain was happening, and my back, it was just, the whole month of February was just about in the trash up until just a few days ago. And I'm still recovering. I'm only at about 60% right now. I'm operating at. You can still hear I have a little bit sore throat from my coughing, and my coughing isn't due to my cold, to a cold that I had. It's due to my back pain, and that back pain resonated through to my chest. It irritated my chest, thus I coughed. And then it gave me a sore throat, but I don't have a cold or anything. But at any rate, let's get started with this. And again, happy St. Patrick's Day. And we'll get started with this 2005 BC Rich, the Dagger. And here it is in all of its glory and merriment. Really cool guitar. I like these. These are semi-hollow body guitars. I even have one that is a prototype that is about twice as thick and is a full-fledged hollow body. And it's Dragon Blood Red Pearl with purple binding around it, and it has skull and bone inlays. This one just has kind of the triangular inlays. These pickups are not the original pickups. The guy that had this guitar before me had his guitar tech, whoever that is, take the original pickups out and put the Seymour Duncan Pegasus and Sentinel Pegasus and Sentient pickups in it, but he gave me the original pickups. But I've just decided to go ahead and keep these pickups in it. You know me, I'm kind of a stickler for originality, but I'll leave these in there for the time being. Maybe in 6 months or a year I'll get a wild hair and go, you know what, I'd want to change these out after all. So I already took this guitar out into the shop, and compressed air blew out the holes and the pickups, and you know, there were plumes of dust that came out and everything. So it was a little bit dusty. It has these really nifty Dagger holes rather than an S hole or an F hole. So it's pretty cool. So I've been itching doing this guitar for about 2.5 months now. I know it has a loose jack, so we'll see if it has any issues. He says it didn't have any issues, so we'll see. I do not hear anything right now, but it helps if I have my amp plugged in. I think I accidentally unplugged it. I had to move some guitars earlier today. I sold an amplifier today. Yeah, I did. I sold an amplifier today. A Vox AD 60 VTX for $220. So that was pretty cool. It's an amp I kind of didn't want to sell. And I showed him 3 different boxes, but he decided he wanted that one. I also showed him a 50 and a 30. I was kind of hoping he was going to buy the 50 because I kind of wanted to keep the 60, but you can't keep everything, so. Okay, the jack is loose but good. Switch is good. Volume pot is good. Tone is good. Yeah. As you can tell, it's vastly out of tune, so. But that's good enough for these purposes to test this guitar. Sorry again for my sore throat, my hoarse throat. That's just from all my coughing all this time. At any rate, let's go ahead and get started with this guitar and detune it. And it has a satin, kind of, well, semi-gloss black finish, so I don't need to polish it, but I will clean it. And this guitar should go, this setup should go pretty fast. Yeah, it should go pretty fast. So we'll go ahead and we'll tighten the, start by tightening our tuners. And I'm excited about working on this guitar because I've had it for so long, you know. It's just one of those things where I was going to do it the week I got it, but then he said he was having issues with that Les Paul, and I was like, that Les Paul is perfect. But he said it was too muddy for him. So I was like, okay. So I traded him back for the Les Paul, which I still have up for sale for $750. And I gave him, he allowed me to keep this and the BC Rich he gave me, and then he gave me 2 additional guitars, which was a 7-string Ibanez and that Ibanez Ergonine bass. And I kept this. But I didn't work on it on the off chance that he demanded his guitar back. Which, you know, I don't do trade backs or buybacks because I'm not a store. You know, I don't have a warranty or a guarantee on my stuff. It's as is where is. If I get a feeling for a person that they're a good person, a cool person, I might consider trying to help them out. But I'll only go so far. You know, I will only do so much. Because I don't put out guitars that do not work. I do not put out amplifiers that do not work. I do not put out basses that do not work. I don't put out anything that does not work. So there is that. So go ahead and tighten this up. Ooh, that is loose. So we're going to have to loosen that up and put a toothpick in it, because it is looser than a long neck goose. So we will do the old toothpick trick, if you will. And you just kind of do that, and then you break the toothpick off in it, and you tighten it as fast as you can so as not to push down the the toothpick, blah. And then you tighten it. Sometimes you have to put 2 toothpicks in, you just kind of have to feel it out. But this one tightened up nice, so we only had to put in 1. Now we'll check the other strap button, and it's nah, you know what, I'll put one in that one too. It's a little bit looser than I would like, so we will put the toothpick in it and screw it in. You want to kind of screw it in as fast as you can, but you don't want to put any downward pressure on the screw, otherwise you will push the toothpick down, and it won't catch the threads of your screw. So you don't want to be doing that. Oh yeah, that's much better. Oh yeah, nice and tight now. And this is neck through, so no neck bolts to tighten. It does have some like white scratches here. I think I can lighten them up or eliminate them. I'll show them to you now. Right here, and here, and here, and here. I think I can. There's one here. Excuse me. And some on the side here. I think I can lighten them up and or eliminate them. So we'll see. We'll see as to that. Now let's go ahead and detune it. Anybody in chat? Happy St. Patrick's Day. I am full-blooded Irish from Sligo, Ireland myself, and I made a full homemade from scratch traditional Irish dinner: corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, carrots, Irish soda bread, and of course we had Guinness. I'm not a huge drinker, but I did have some Guinness tonight rather. But yeah. Guinness. I bought a 6-pack of Guinness, which will probably last me the entire rest of the month. Because like I say, I don't drink that much, so. Okay, take the strings off, check the nut, make sure it's tight. Take off the truss rod cover. I'll move the camera view again. Then I'll check the truss rod and finish tightening the tuners. The jam nuts to the tuner. Frets and fretboard look like they have very little wear on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like about the first 6 to 7 frets have maybe about 10% wear. Which is, you know, the guitar is from 2005, so the guitar is almost, what, 25 years old? No, 15 years old? Yeah, at any rate, however old it is, yeah, 15 years old. I was like, why did I say 25? Okay, now we'll just check the truss rod, and it's pretty good, so we'll just give it like a 1/16 of a turn. And we'll tighten the jam nuts on the tuners. in there. I think this guitar is going to go pretty smoothly. Of course, you never know, but you want to go slow. I'm kind of going a little fast, but that's because I'm kind of still recovering from my back from the past several weeks, so I do want to get this guitar done inside of an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. Just because. Okay, we got those tightened. I gotta finish my movie today, which I started watching, which was the newest Leprechaun movie, Leprechaun Returns, which was from last year. I never had a chance to see it, so I saved it, and I have it. You want to be careful with these satin to semi-gloss finishes. Anything you do can mar the finish up, so in a case like that, I really should be putting a rag under here so the my tool doesn't mar the finish. These are really hard to come up for some reason. Oh, there we go, and one left. Ooh, that's hard to take off. You have to be careful because if these are on too tight, you can end up pulling a shaft out of the pot, and then you're replacing the whole pot. Which you don't want to do. That is on there really good. I don't know why, but it is. So I'll use the other end of this to kind of get under there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, we're good on that. It was quite warm today. Today was the first warm day of the entire year. It was 85 degrees here today. It's 76 degrees here in the room right now. I was like shocked at how warm it was today. I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. I was like, what? I was like, what? Okay. It was hot. Well, it was warm. It was pretty warm today. I'll put it that way. Okay, now we will do the pickup pull height, adjust it. And these pickups are brand new. He said they were installed about 2 weeks before we did our deal for the guitar. And then I asked him if he had the original pickups. He initially said no. But then he said, well, they must be somewhere. Where are they? And he said, well, they're probably at my friend's guitar shop. I said, well, if you can get them, I will trade you. Because my original thought was to put this guitar back to original with the original pickups back in it, and then to use these pickups for something else, which I still may do. Because in reality, these pickups don't sound that vastly different than the original pickups. They really don't. They have some sound and tonal difference, obviously, of course, but not so much. But they are good, expensive pickups. They're like $230, $250 pickups if you were to go buy them brand new today. So we'll go ahead and take a picture before of our frets and fretboard. I'll sit down and rest a minute and then check the chat, optimize my memory. On a side note, I am using the new Telestream Wirecast Professional 2.01. They are one of my show sponsors, and when a new version comes out, they give me the new version, and this is the new version. So it's pretty cool. I've been using Telestream Wirecast, gosh, since version 1. It's the very first version. It's a really cool piece of streaming software. Really, really is. Next question. Is this guitar going to be a keeper, or am I going to sell it? Well, it's not really. After I got it, he described the guitar as mint condition. And it's just got too many scratches and dings and those white dents, white scrapes that I showed you, to call this guitar mint condition. It's nowhere near mint condition. Thus, to me, it's not collector grade. But I will keep it. But if somebody wants to give me $800 for it, I'll probably sell it. Yeah, maybe $750. Maybe $750. But I'm not going to let it go for a penny less than that, because these are becoming exceedingly rarer and more sought after and more desirable, and you don't see them up for sale or trade or anything very often. There's none on Craigslist, there's none on eBay, there's none on Reverb. Anytime one comes up, I'm usually within the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people to make an offer on it, and I usually end up with it. So I buy them, even if they're a beater. I've bought a couple of these that were just absolute dog beaters, and I paid $150 for them. So it was like, yeah. But it was one that was all dented up and scratched up, and so I had to take the guitar apart, sand it down, repaint it and refinish it to its original factory color, which was red with black binding. So with that said, I will go ahead and start on doing the frets and fretboard. We'll get that done. Like I said, I'm going to try and make this video under an hour, about an hour and a half, only because I'm still really tired and my back still really hurts. So I don't want to overdo it and then have a setback and then have to recover for an additional 2, 3, 4 days because I overdid it. So I don't want that. And I did, you know what, being St. Patrick's Day, I wanted to do a green guitar, but I do not have any green guitars that need any work. All of my green guitars are done. I suppose I could have pulled one out that I could have done a refresh on, but I've been looking at this one on its stand by the front door of my house for 2.5 months, so I figured, yeah, I'll do it on St. Patrick's Day. I'll make a event out of doing it, so to speak. So here we go. Do some pre-stretches before I start. And here we go. That's what I say about it. I think once is all it's going to take. It is pretty dirty. I noticed the guy, when he uses a guitar, he really dirties them up. When I got that Les Paul back, he had only been playing it for a week and a half, and the fretboard looked like it had been untouched and played for about 3 years. I was like, what the heck? Nice guy, don't get me wrong, really nice guy. That's why I helped him out. Otherwise I would have just told him, well, you know, sorry. But he was a nice kid, and he came to me, and you know, he gave me those extra guitars and was willing to give me 2 more guitars, and I was like, eh, okay, I'll help him. So whoa, yeah. Really dirty. Really dirty. Really dirty. Whew. Man. Jeez. Now there's another clean side after 4 runs. Oh my goodness. Still dirty. I'm gonna have to flip the other side. See? Still coming off. Wow. Jeez. Just won't stop. That's pretty good though. It's coming up good. It's gonna look bitchin' when it's done. I'll tell you that right now. It's gonna look hardcore bitchin'. I am done with it. It's gonna look hardcore bitchin'. So yeah, I mean, it's not collector grade, otherwise I would be keeping it. And I am going to keep it, unless somebody wants to give me like $750, $775, I think, for it. Because most of the ones that are selling for about that much, unless they are a real dog. And you don't see ones that are really bad condition dog very often. The one I got was really bad. It was, the guy played it non-stop for like 10 years. And then he put it in his garage, uncovered, not in a case. Getting hot in the summer, cold in the winter, damp, night dew. Because he didn't have a sealed garage or a finished garage or anything. And it was just, the thing was just really bad when I got it. And I plugged it in the first time, and it was just all popping and crackling and snapping and static, and I was like, oh my god. But I took it all apart. I cleaned the pots. I was able to save the original pots, all that good stuff. So I put a lot of work into that guitar, and that's the same one I refinished. And if you look at it today, it looks almost brand new. And amazingly enough, the guy was not hard on frets, so it had only like about 15% fret wear on it on the first 6 frets. So it was really clean that way, and I was shocked. And I think I said I only paid $200 for it with a hard shell case, a BC Rich hard shell case. And one of those little, he also threw in one of those little BC Rich practice amps, one of those little red ones. Those are kind of hard to find. He had one of those just as kind of a little practice amp. So that was pretty cool. Oh, you know what else I got from that guy? He also brought me that Marshall mini stack that I sold just, Christmas Eve? Remember that one I showed you guys? Yeah, that little Marshall mini stack. That's right, I forgot about that. That's the same guy. Yeah, he brought me that too for, what did I pay for that? I think I paid $80 for it, and then I turned around, cleaned it up, sold it. What did I sell that for? $260 on this past Christmas Eve. Yeah. I was like, damn, I made a decent profit on that. I didn't make a killing on it, but I made a decent profit. I mean, I put about an hour and a half labor into it, taking it apart, cleaning it, and cleaning the pots and stuff like that. So I probably had about another $80, $90 in labor into it. So, so yeah. So again, this is a 2005 BC Rich, the Dagger. I got a part trade for that initially on that black, satin black Gibson Les Paul Studio a few months ago. And he also gave me a BC Rich Mockingbird, which I've since sold, that was virtually unplayable. I put a lot of work into that guitar. I put about 4 hours of labor into that guitar, and about another $60. And I ended up only selling it for $90 because it was a low end Platinum series. So or Bronze Series rather. But then he contacted me back and said, hey man, this thing sounds really muddy. And I was like, okay. I was like, adjust the pickups down. Make it, you know, just make it sound a little less aggressive. Adjust the pickups down. He didn't do it. So then he contacted me back and said, well, you've got a Fender American Strat that I really like. That he actually initially he wanted that guitar, but I told him no, I just wanted to sell that one outright. And then he says, well, he wanted that, and he says, well, if I give you 2 more guitars plus your studio back, you can keep this BC Rich and the other BC Rich that I gave you, and I will give you 2 more guitars. I was like, because there was a value differentiation between the Les Paul Studio and the Fender American Strat by about $280. So I was like, okay. So he brought me that Ibanez Ergodyne. He neglected to tell me one of the horns had been completely broken off. And he was like, oh yeah, by the way, the horn was broke off. And I was like, okay. So I took it back off and re-glued it correctly, because whoever glued it before didn't glue it correctly. So I re-glued it, and I have that bass up for sale right now. But now he likes the Fender American Strat that I traded him back, and I was like, oh, okay. You know, again, I'm not a store. I'm just a guy selling guitars and amps. So I don't have any warranty or guarantee, but he seemed like a nice kid, and I wanted to keep this Dagger. So I told him, nah, okay, I'll do the trade back. And again, normally I wouldn't do trade backs because, you know, people would use the guitar, maybe they dinged it, maybe they dropped it, you know, any number of things could have happened. But I checked the guitar out and it was perfectly fine. It was in the exact same condition that I traded to him in, so I obliged him. And he's been happy ever since. He hasn't contacted me back since, so I assume he's happy with it. And that's how I ended up with this guitar. So, pretty cool. Oh my goodness. Almost done. I'm really tired. My back is killing me again, so. So yeah, 2005 BC Rich, the Dagger. My throat is really dry, so I have to stop talking for a minute. I'm sorry. Whew, mercy. Turn my box fan on in a minute, I think, because it is hot in here. It's 76.5 degrees in here. I'm going to get a fresh drink and I will be right back.
75 years, Grantham University has been educating all kinds of heroes, making sacrifices every day for country, community, or family. That's why Grantham offers one of the lowest tuition rates in the country, even lower for military, first responders, and their families. Our online programs make learning at Grantham flexible, even when life isn't. It's time to finish your degree. Visit grantham.edu today. Grantham.edu.
Your digestive system has billions of bacteria, but life can throw them off balance. Realign yourself with Align Probiotic. And try Align Gummies with prebiotics and probiotics to help support digestive health. You want a fresh-smelling home, but some air fresheners use heavy, overwhelming scents. Introducing Febreze One, a new range of innovative air fresheners with no heavy perfumes that you can feel good about using in your home to deliver a light, natural-smelling freshness. Febreze One neutralizes stale, stuffy odors and releases a subtle hint of fragrance like bamboo or lemongrass ginger. To eliminate odors with no heavy perfumes, try new Febreze One.
Okay.
When you rent a car on Turo, you're renting from a real person. No shuttle rides, no waiting in line, no water.
Oh.
This is better than your typical car rental.
All right.
This is Turo.
Okay. Now we'll take after pictures. Oh yeah, much better. I'll tell you that right now. I think I'll refrain from turning that fan on just for a while. Excuse me. My goodness. Okay, we'll take this off actually. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but I didn't. Okay. And we'll go ahead and polish these studs and then the bridge. And then in order to clean the body and the neck and the headstock, as you guys know, I use something non-invasive as possible, which is baby wipes. Non-alcohol, ones that don't have alcohol in it. Not non-alcoholic ones. Yeah, we don't want that alcoholic baby. Yeah, ones that don't have alcohol in it. I'm sorry, my voice seems to be going again. Maybe I need to rest it for a few minutes. Ooh. My. Excuse me. Yeah, so I will get my baby wipes here soon. But let's go ahead and do the studs and just kind of get those out of the way.
War isn't over yet, but as far as Ducat is concerned, he's already won.
Go ahead and do the first one here. Just kind of.
Look at me. I don't know why I bother to sit here every day. I don't even have a security force to patrol the promenade.
Then ask for one. Demand that they reinstate your Bajoran deputies.
Ducat will never agree to that.
Forget about Ducat. Go away, he'll listen to you. As far as he's concerned, you are a god, and that gives you power. But what good is power if you're not willing to use it?
Yeah, that's what I say.
Then receive this reward from
Okay, first one polished. Put aside. Next.
You enjoy that, don't you? That constant reminder that you're their master.
The founders are the masters. I am merely their servant, as are the Jem'Hadar. And you.
That may be, but even amongst servants.
That is exactly the observation I've come to expect from you, Dukat. Interesting.
Again, this is a 2005 BC Rich, the Dagger. That I required about 2.5 or so months ago. And it is pretty darn spiffy, if I do say so myself. For lack of a better description, it is spiffy. It is quite spiffy.
I'll take you to keep out.
I do have a case I'm going to put this in, so I do have that.
A member of the station's ruling council. You.
Along with William and Dukat. Now I'll have a voice in station policy.
You sure this is a good idea?
Dukat thought it was a terrible idea. You should have seen his face when William offered me the position.
Didn't you see that we were using you? Your president.
I thought we were using him.
Okay. Take a look at this bridge. It is an original bridge, so that's good.
That's right, you will.
This is a victory after all.
I suppose it is.
Ooh.
For some reason, I just don't feel like one.
So today was St. Patrick's Day. I made a complete, 100% complete, traditional, original dinner of corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots and Irish soda bread. Also had a little bit of sauerkraut. And it was really good. Boy, I had 3 helpings of that. Cooked it in my slow cooker for 8.5 hours. And man, boy, it came out really tender and really good. And I'm really full. 3 helpings of it. I couldn't stop. And I have more for tomorrow night and the next night and the next night and maybe the next night. So I love corned beef. Corned beef is like one of my favorite things. So I've been looking forward to this dinner, having this dinner since like before Christmas. I started thinking about corned beef. I was like, oh, corned beef, St. Patrick's Day. Watch the parade. I started watching the most recent, newest Leprechaun movie. You know, the Leprechaun movie, Leprechaun Returns, in 2018. I started watching that. I'm about 2/3 of the way through on that movie. I'll finish that tonight. Oh, I did finish last night, Bohemian Rhapsody. Wow. All I can say is wow on that. Bohemian Rhapsody. You know, about Freddie Mercury and Queen. Wow. All I can say is wow. It was really good. He deserves an Oscar for that. I think I actually take that back. I think he did get an Oscar or an Emmy or something for that, didn't he? I don't remember. I didn't watch the Oscars or the Emmys this year. I was just kind of I don't know, I had other things going on and didn't watch them. So I think I saw him holding a Oscar and or Emmy for his performance. He was just, that actor was just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal in that movie. I was just like, wow. And at the end there, boy, I remember that Live Aid concert. I remember watching that as a kid. And watching him, and he blew the roof off of the place like he said he was going to do. Even though the place, the other guy poked fun a little. He says, well, it doesn't have a roof. But yeah, had it had a roof, he would have blown it off. I mean, he did phenomenal. It's just such a shame that he died the way he did and when he did. Otherwise, he might still be alive today if he didn't contract AIDS. I think. How old was he when he died? I think it was 41 or 2. So he was not old by any stretch of the imagination. So, and he died in what, 91 or 2? So 40, he would have been what, 60 something, early 70s or something like that today if he had been alive today. It's a real shame. I always liked his music. He had quite a life and quite a background. Quite a life and quite a background. Quite amazing individual he was. He had such a voice and such a range. And he was actually quite an accomplished pianist. I think he actually played a little guitar too, but he never played guitar with the band. If memory serves, you know, his main guitarist guy played guitar. And his guitarist was a really good guitarist, you know, by the way. Playing that really neat God, I know the guitar he played, I can't think of it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. The guitar that he played all throughout his career was a... I know it. I can't think of it right now. His drummer was a really good drummer. His bassist was a really good bassist. They were all good, good musicians. They knew how to play their instruments. But boy, Freddie Mercury's voice was just one of a kind. You know, he had that beak. He had that beak and that mouth and those teeth for that range of voice. Like he mentioned in the beginning of the movie, you know, just that enabled him to get a range of voice that not many others could get or accomplish. So that was pretty cool. Let's see, we're at 55 minutes, so I think I'm going to be done with this inside a half hour. So we're making pretty good time here. We're doing pretty good time here. What other movie did I see that actor in recently, I think? Or I have a movie that he's in. I can't remember that either. Boy, he was really good. I mean, he was Freddie Mercury in that movie. I mean, he just absolutely was Freddie Mercury. I don't think there would have been any other actor to play him. I don't know who else was considered for his part, but when it's all said and done, boy, he was Freddie Mercury. Okay, I'm gonna go get my baby wipes in a minute here.
Thank you. I'm Captain Catherine Janeway. This is Commander Tuvok. Within the Federation starship.
Okay, I'll be right back in a second. Try one of those Guinnesses if you want, Jeff. They're not too bad. They're there. There if you want. You have one or as many as you want. Okay, equate paraben-free alcohol. Alcohol-free. Equate Walmart brand, if you will. Baby wipes. That's what I use to clean satin finish or semi-gloss finish guitars, because they will pick up the dirt and they won't leave any streaking or anything behind. You might have to come back with one of my microfiber rags to get the little. Sometimes these rags leave behind a little tiny. Oh gosh, they leave behind little pieces of the rag behind, or the dust, or whatever you want to call it. And you have to wipe that away. But for all intents and purposes, it gets up all the dust and fingerprints and whatnot from these pretty well, pretty good, I don't have very many bad things to say about using baby wipes to clean a satin finished or semi-gloss finished guitar like this. This is a semi-gloss finished guitar. So you don't want to press too hard. You just want to go mild to start, and you want to try and go in one direction. You don't want to go all crazy, because if it leaves marks or striations, you're going to be harder to polish them away with your cloth afterwards. So you want to just kind of go in one way. I know it's hard to when you get to the down to the knobs and stuff like that. Yeah, see how it leaves behind the little bit of dust or whatever. But I'd rather have that than leave the fingerprints on there and stuff. So you just wait for it to dry, and I will polish the rings, the pickup bezels, and the top of the pickups. Those I'll polish, and then polish these, and then polish the tops of the knobs, and then polish the tuners. Those I'll polish. Everything else will be left behind. So you just kind of wait for this to dry, and then I'll come back with my microfiber rag, wipe off the dusting, and then see if I need to do it again. Sometimes I need to do it twice, in case it leaves, streaks or swirls or something. Sometimes it does, but very, very seldomly. But boy, look at the frets on the fretboard now. The frets on the fretboard came out really nice. just come back like this, rag, and you just kind of brush off the dust that's left behind from the baby wipe. And this guitar is not going to come out perfect because, you know, there's palm, you know, from where people's palm, where his palm rested, and, you know, strum, and where his finger here rested, and all that stuff. So it's not going to come out perfect. I'm just trying to get it better than what it is. And if that's all I get, then that's all I get. At least it will be clean, you know. But yeah, I can already see it's not gonna come out the way I want. But you know, again, it is what it is, and that's what it is. And it is what it is, and that's what it is, and that's it. I will go over some areas probably twice or 3 times. This area, and this area, and this area, I will go over again. And usually when I do that, I'll fold the wipe in quarters, and then I can kind of control where I want it to go a little bit better, you know. Not always, but sometimes. So again, I try and go in one direction, if at all possible, which usually is not the case in most cases. But it will be better. It will be a sight better than what it was when he dropped the guitar off to me. So, and every time I use that baby wipe, it gets a little bit better. And to get those white marks off of it, I might have to take a little bit of polish or rubbing compound to get those off. I'd rather have a little polished mark on it than leave those white gashes on it. You know. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I might have to. This one's getting dry already. 76.5 degrees in here, so it's getting warm in here very quickly. I might have to turn my fan on here in a minute. And my rag is, you know, it's already slightly impregnated with polish and wax from doing other guitars, so if I sit here long enough, I can get it looking pretty good. I can get all the streaks and palm marks and finger marks and striations out of it. Not all of them, but I can lighten them up, I should say. What I can do, yeah, so. So there is that. It's about as good as I'll get it, you know, over time. Ay, ay, ay. Sometimes if you put your breath on it, you know, like you're cleaning a pair of glasses, that can help too. There's a spot right here that, and I can get it out. Like I said, I'm not going for perfection because the guitar is not in mint condition like the guy said it was. When he brought it to me, and I looked at it and I was like, this is not in mint condition. And then his excuse was kind of like, well, it's mint to me. And I was like, okay, well, doesn't. And I just kind of lightly told him, well, it doesn't matter what it's meant to you. What matters is what, you know, fair market value when you're appraising it says its condition is. You know, you have to go by, you know, what it is, not what you want it to be. It's kind of what I told him, more or less. He was a young kid. I mean, he wasn't a kid. He was probably, I don't know, 25 or 4 or 26 or something like that. So he wasn't a kid. But I think he was old enough to know the difference between what mint condition is and, you know, what mint condition isn't. You know, that being said. But, you know, I took the guitar anyway because it was a Dagger, and, you know, I originally intended it to be, you know, for my collection to keep. And I do, still, for the most part. Like I said earlier, unless somebody comes by and they want to give me like $750, $775, $780 for it, then I will maybe sell it. I have the original BC Rich hard shell case for it. Excuse me, which is a coffin case, which I'm not going to include if I do sell this to somebody. It's just, you know, it's guitar only. As you guys know, I do not sell any of my guitars with cases unless it is a really specific and special shape and it happens to come with a case. Then I will tack on a little tiny bit more money for the guitar and include the case for it. But other than that, I do not include cases with any of my guitars, or gig bags, or cables, or accessories, or anything. That's how I can keep the pricing of my guitars down as low as they are. Because when I sold that guy the Ibanez GAX70 the other day for $130, and he was like, "Man, how come it's so cheap? This thing's brand new." And I said, "Well, one, I'm not including a case, no cable, no strap, no tuner, no accessories, no nothing, just the guitar. You know, had I been including all that stuff, you know, it wouldn't be $130, it'd be $230 or $250, you know." So there is that aspect of it. And he was like, "Yeah, I can see that." Because people kind of tend to think that, you know, you're going to include a case for free, and a strap for free, and a cable for free, and picks for free, and a tuner for free, and all this stuff for free. And it's like, you know, some people might do that if it's just a guitar that they have to sell, and they're looking to sell because they got to pay their rent in it this month. But, you know, I don't do that. So it looks pretty good. I mean, that's about as clean as it's gonna get, the body. So we'll go ahead and do the headstock so I can put the bridge back, and the bridge and all that back. I'm gonna put a little bit of polish on the tops of these studs just by kind of doing that. And yeah, polish those tops of those a little bit, you know. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do the top of the headstock, because you can't polish that, so. So we will do that.
Our ship's logs will confirm what the captain's been telling me. But how do I know they're authentic records? How do we know your records are authentic? You think I falsified data? Why would I do that? Perhaps to extort my literature from I'm not a thief here.
We are not questioning your integrity, Mr. Moore. You just appeared to
that dry and then wipe that off, just like we did the other one. And then we have to polish the tailpiece. I'm going to go get a fresh drink and I'll be right back.
Now you try to convince me you're the victims here.
Did you say boarding the ship?
A despicable tactic.
You'll excuse me for a minute, please.
We're not finished. We're making great progress.
Tell me more about this Dagger. Who gave me everything?
When Tom and I entered during our away mission, we were a small planetoid in the empty system searching for a spore that grow antiviral proteins with when I first joined Starfleet,
Okay. Wet my whistle a little bit because it was a warm day today. I was shocked when I walked out my front door early this afternoon. And it was 85 degrees. I was like, God damn, I'm not ready for this heat already. But boy, I'm telling you, spring is on its way. I now imagine we're not going to have much of a spring. We're going to go basically straight from spring weather to summer weather here probably in about, well, I'm going to guess less than 2 months. I'm going to guess by May we're going to be seeing mid-90s. Because that's just the way it is. You know? That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Thinking of a Phil Collins song. When I said that, he's got a song that's called Just the Way It Is. Or has a song that has those lyrics in it, I should say. Hello? My back is still irritating my chest a little. And then when it irritates my chest, I have to cough. So, yeah. So I'm hoping to be over that in the next couple of days because it's getting very tedious and tiresome, hooping and coughing till 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I go to bed, and then I wake up at 6 in the morning and start hooping and coughing and hollering. You know, not cool. Not cool. So I will put this back in its coffin case tomorrow after taking pictures of it. And I will have that on my Twitter. Classic Guitar Twitter and Classic Guitar Facebook. And possibly my new Classic Guitar Instagram. But Instagram is giving me issues because it is not letting me upload pictures via computer, desktop computer. Instagram is really kind of screwing themselves because there are people that have personal computers and Macs and PCs and Windows computers that want to upload, but they can't upload because Instagram does not give you an option to upload via desktop, only via mobile device. So if your picture that you want to upload is not on your mobile device, you have to transfer it to your mobile device and then upload it, and that's a hassle. Now there are computer software and applications that will allow you to upload via desktop computer. And I tried to use one of those that I have installed on my computer the other day, and it was no longer working. So I think what Instagram does is they block those applications from being used. They block what's called the API, which allows you access to an application, which in turn allows you access to do something like that. And they blocked the API to do that, which is a shame, because now I have to find out a way, because you know I can't upload pictures from this DSLR to Instagram because this isn't a mobile device. So I have to upload them to, you know, my Samsung Galaxy Tab or something, and then in turn upload it to Instagram. But my Galaxy Tab is so old that I don't think the current version application, Instagram application, will not work on my tablet, because my tablet is too old. My Galaxy Tab Pro 10.5 is like, I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 years old, or so, like 5 years old or something now. It's like, I can't use it. So it's like, So Instagram really needs to make it available to people with desktop computers to upload to their site via, you know, whatever, you know, via the Mac or PC, and just upload via a browser, you know, via your Internet Explorer, your Mozilla Firefox, or whatever. Just like you can upload a picture to Facebook, you know, using a browser, computer browser. They really need to do that, because I can't upload anything to even my Klasic computers anymore, because my little cheater application won't allow me to do it. Because they blocked the API that allows you to do that. So it's like, I don't know why they do that. There's really no reason. There's no security risk. But I will find a way and start uploading stuff to my Classic Guitar Instagram. Hopefully soon. I mean, I want to. Okay, look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no deductibles and there's no annual membership.
All right. So let's go ahead and put the Mohickey back on.
Call us now for your free information kit with all the details.
Detail piece. You always want to make sure you don't have your, you know, tailpiece flipped over, and then you've got your strings, you know, like that. You know, you want them all. You want to double check that kind of thing. So, and I still have to polish the tuners, clean the sides of the guitar, and the back, and the back of the neck, and the back of the headstock. So we're at an hour and 20 minutes, and we still have a little ways to go. So it's probably going to be a 2-hour video. Which is fine by me. It's all good. It's all good. And we'll go ahead and we'll dry lube the nut.
Go to OurTime.com. Look for free. It's easy to take a look on Our Time, the fastest growing dating site for people over 50.
Ultra soft.
It's softer than ever. Charmin Ultra Soft is softer than ever, so it's harder to resist.
Okay. We dry lube the nut, and we dry lube it with this, which is kind of a piano lube. But I put that in the grooves of the nut, and that lubricates it. It's a dry lube, if you will. So that works out. Pretty well. I'll just go ahead and wind up our strings. We'll do the first string. I gotta put the truss rod cover back on. So we'll do that next. And I'll show you the truss rod cover, which is pretty cool. It says the Dagger on it. There you go, the Dagger. That's what this guitar is affectionately. Oh, I just dropped the nut. Gosh, dang it. Ay, ay, ay. Dropped the nut. Ay, ay, ay. So now I gotta find it. Ay, 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 ay.
You said you had scanned the vessel that visited your mining colony.
I do this from time to time. Ooh, found it. This is why I have a very powerful light. I turn this bad boy on. That I got from Harbor Freight. Like $5, $4, $3. And then shine it on the ground, and because this is metal, it's shiny. And I can readily find a screw, nut, bolt, screw, or washer. Fairly easy. Fairly easy. Nope. Of course, I just dropped the nut again, so. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now we're good. We already adjusted the truss rod cover and tightened the tuners. I had a guy interested in buying this guitar when I was at NAMM recently. But the guy was kind of an idiot. He only wanted to give me $400 for it, and I was like, no, it's got $250 pickups in it, for one thing. Even if I were to quickly put the original pickups back, I'd still want $500 for the guitar, $550. But he wanted to lowball me. I was like, no, not gonna happen, dude. Sorry. Okay, we already dry lubed the nut, so you want to make sure your string is in your bridge saddle groove. And just keep going. Next one, the next one, the next one. I'm not trying to tune the guitar right now. I'm just trying to get the strings back on and get the winds back on the tuning peg back on correctly. And then we'll put the we'll bring the bridge back up to a factory setting here. Okay. Alright, next guitar. And the guy put new strings on it before he brought it to me. He didn't quite put the strings on right. But that's okay. I will leave them on. That's why, and then I'll just rewrap the string winds around the post, tuning peg post. the way I like them. And we'll go from there. And that's it. Oop. Oh. Make sure your string is in your bridge saddle. And all your winds are on under each other. And I just take this little piece of Scotch-Brite and I clean the strings, even though they're new. They've kind of been sitting a little while, and the guy kind of tends to play his guitars with hands that aren't exactly clean. So that being said, I'm not trying to be rude or not nice to the guy, but it's just, you know, it is what it is. He kind of tends to play his guitars with hands that aren't clean. And it was fine. Not a lot of people play their guitars with clean hands. Even I've been known to pick up a guitar and my hands weren't 100% clean. You know, it is what it is. Guitars are meant to be played, not case queens or shelf queens or wall queens. Guitars are meant to be played. And you know, sometimes people play their guitars with dirty and sweaty hands, and that happens, you know. You know, if you happen to be playing your guitar in a bar or a place that's, you know, hot and dirty and, you know, stuff like that, you know, that's fine, you know, it happens. You can't help it. I mean, I've personally played venues that were dirty and it's hot and sweaty, and you grab your guitar and your hands are dirty and sweaty. It is what it is, and that's what it is. I'm just saying that if you can help it, play your guitar with clean hands. Like if you're at home and you're practicing or whatever, play your guitar, wash your hands before you play your guitar. And you will not have to clean your frets and your fretboard. For instance, as often, and you won't have to even replace strings as often. You know, and I've told people this, and I've actually suggested this to people. I've said to people who specifically told me, "Man, I have to change strings all the time, and my fretboard gets really dirty all the time." I said, well, wash your hands before you play your guitar. And lo and behold, they email me back a few months later and say, "Hey man, I don't have to replace my strings as much, or I don't have to clean my fretboard as much." And it's like, well, that's why. You know? That's why. Look at that, baby. That's looking pretty good. Now we'll do the back and the sides, and we'll see what we can do about those spots on the back there. And I'm sorry that I have to keep coughing. But I'm still kind of recovering from my bad back. that I've had most of February and some of March. So I do apologize for having to cough a little bit in my gravelly, raspy voice. I do apologize for that. But it is what it is, and that's what it is. It is what it is, and that's what it is. So we're gonna see if I can get this off without using any product, which I'm probably gonna say no. This white. Now if I can scrape it off with my very, very, very extremely dull razor blade, because I can feel it under my fingernail, the white scratch is on the surface. It has not gone below the surface of the finish of the guitar. So if I can lightly scrape it off at the surface of the guitar with minimal evasiveness, then I'd rather have a little bit of tiny scratching from the razor blade than leave those white scratches on, you know what I mean? I mean, the guitar is already scratched, and the back of it is actually worse than the top because we've got buckle rash and scratches and all kinds of stuff going on back here. And sometimes you can get it with your fingernail. I recently cut my fingernails yesterday, so I don't have much of a fingernail. But sometimes you can get it with your fingernail if you're stout enough at it. Come on. Come on. This is a extremely dull, old razor blade. I've had this razor blade for probably 20 years. And I keep old razor blades. And I could run my finger across this really hard and it won't cut because it's very dull. It's not scratchy, but it's dulled over the years just from using it. And keeping old razor blades like that is good for work like this, where you need to get something off, but you don't want to leave razor blade marks. And this will still leave a little bit of razor blade marking, but not much, or sometimes none. This is only going to leave behind maybe 8 to 10% markings from the 8 to 10% markings from the razor blade, so it's gonna come out pretty good. And I'm not trying to get this guitar perfect, because the guitar is not perfect in the first place. But look, see, I got those marks all off. So this one's all dry now. We'll bunch that one up, use a fresh one. And we will go gangbusters on this. So we'll go back and forth, and then we'll go up and down and up and down. And then we'll go diagonal. And then we'll go diagonal the other way. And then we'll finish back up with, we will swirl. Counterclockwise. And then clockwise, and then we'll go back and forth, up and down to finish. Very lightly like that. And just wait till it dries, and then come back with my microfiber and see if we need to go over it a second time. Excuse me. I need to get another drink because my voice is starting to go again. I need to get a V8 or a Hansen's juice or something. Okay, so take our rag and we will get the dust off of it from the baby wipe, and we will, I don't even have to stand up and look at it to see, and see if we have to go over it a second time, and it looks like we do. And then I will use the other side of the rag, of the baby wipe rather, to go over it. And this time I will press down a little bit harder. I will go over some of the problem areas a little bit more. And diagonal. And diagonal. And finish off up and down. Oh yeah, it always comes better the second time, and it would probably come better a third time and a fourth time and a fifth time. If I sat here until 5 o'clock in the morning and did it a bunch of times, it would come out better. But you know, I'm only going to do it so many times. I mean, that's it. Call it good, because I'm not trying to get this guitar perfect, because it's not perfect to begin with. Now the back of the neck from here to here is high polish, because you want high polish on that, so I will polish that, and then when you get back up to the back of the neck, it is satin finished again, and then I will go ahead and tune the not tune I will polish the back of the tuners, and the back of the tuners still have the original factory plastic still on them, which is cool, which I will keep on there. I won't remove that. I'll just leave that on there, just for the heck of it. And this time I will just only go one direction, up and down. Whoops. Okay, now we'll get the Ay, ay, ay. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna come perfect. It's just, I mean, that's why I kind of have a love-hate relationship with satin finish guitars or semi-gloss guitars, because if you barely touch them, boom. Excuse me. I lost you there, guys, for a second. I am sorry. Actually, I just barely hit the microphone with the tip of my pinky. Sorry about that. If you barely touch your fingers on a satin finish or semi-gloss finish guitar, the whole look of it goes awry, because you'll actually, every time you go like this, you'll polish it with your natural oils and sweats of your hand. So that you know, when you go out and you buy a satin finish or semi-gloss finish guitar, don't expect it to last it for more than about a week, and then you'll start going stark raving mad and bouncing off the walls that your finish is not the same. It just, you know, when it gets to that point when they are so bad that there's nothing you can do, I will I will take polish to it and kind of polish them, and just, you know, whatever the finish is left is the finish that's left on them. I could do that with this one, but I'm not going to. Just, I don't know, just for the simple fact that I don't feel like doing it. It's not like this is a $1,000 guitar or anything. So, that being said, I will do the best I can do with the finish, and leave it at that, you know. So we will polish. Ooh, yeah, the back of the neck came out really nice, of course, obviously. Okay. I'm gonna get a clean one of these and do the back of the headstock.
First, I was just exploiting the opportunity to get on one bed. For protection, I kept waiting to find out what the captain wanted in return.
But she never asked for a thing.
On the contrary, she expected it.
And then we'll go from there and see how that comes out. Let it dry. But it's pretty rare that I will polish a semi-gloss guitar. Only if the finish is just so bad and there's nothing I can do with it. And it looks so bad the way it is. Then I will just say screw it, and I will go ahead and I will put a ultra cut compound on it first, and then do that, and then a polish, and then a wax, and then it won't come out like the back of the neck, but it'll come out more conformed. It will come out more even. So there is that aspect of it. So yeah. But yeah, we'll polish the tuners, back of the tuners, and then we still have to do the sides. Yeah. I'll just go ahead and do the sides now with this one. I almost forgot. And then we have this one little spot here that we can get with the dull razor blade. Okay, that came off really easily. Wait for that to dry, and then we will come back. Sometimes you can come back while it's wet, a little bit wet, and come back with your rag like this, like I'm doing, but you have to be really knowledgeable in keeping a rag straight and not going like this. You want to keep your rag really straight, so that way if you do put striations and streaks in it, then at least your striations and your streaks will be straight and not all over the place. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, we'll go ahead and do this. Oh my gosh, you know, I forgot to out of all of this, I've forgotten to tighten the jack. See, I'm not perfect. I forget things from time to time. Not very often, but I will forget something. So we gotta tighten this jack up. So we gotta put a screwdriver in it, and then use the use the
Kitchen and bathroom messes with white or brake cleaners? Try Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Just add water, squeeze,
use the
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser works great on burnt-on food in the kitchen.
there we go. That's the wrong size still.
Getting stubborn bathroom stains
Come on now, Mark. There we go. And you just want to put a little bit of tension to the left or right or up or down. I go up
for your impossible kitchen and bathroom messes.
to keep the jack from turning, because if you just do this without it, you'll turn the whole workings and the wiring with it, and then you'll snap the wiring off, if you get my drift. So you want to put a fair, medium fair amount of pressure to it and tighten the jack.
Charcoal or coconut oil. Gently rub
And now the jack is nice and tight, see? You want to be careful doing that because those jam nuts only have about 2 to 2.5 threads per nut. And you can strip those out like really easily. And I need to take the razor blade again, and we got some more white scratches. I think it's, I don't know, I want to say it's white from a white wall, drywall wall, or a white painted wall, and somebody set it up against a wall and it slipped. And that's what it's from, you know.
shield so I can transport a board.
I'm pretty sure.
Are you accusing me of something?
Oh, no, I got it. There we go. And you will, even though this is dull, you will leave little scratches. So you have to decide, do you want to leave behind a little bit of scratching from a razor blade, or do you want to leave those huge, gigantic white... Do you want to live with those white scratches? And it's like, to me, I don't want to live with the white scratches, so I will rather live with the little bit of dull scratching from the razor blade. You know?
Well, it's time to collect them and leave the region. Set a course before Voyager finds us.
You're not in command here.
And I've done this enough time over the years to make it very minimal. And I've done this for clients before, and they said, take that scratch off, man, I don't care how. And I take it off, and they're happy with it. They're happy with the way I did it. They didn't like, their eye went straight to the scratch every time. And it was just like, take that scratch off, dude. And I'm like, okay, I will take it off.
Evasive maneuvers.
And, you know, I take the scratch off, and they're happy with the way I do it, so. Now we've got one more other aspect. Now again, sometimes you can do it with your fingernail, but if your fingernail isn't tough enough to do it, then you have to do it with your, with the way I'm doing it. And there's a bad spot in the back of the neck that's I can't do anything about because it's gone past the surface of the neck, so there's nothing I can do about it. There's a spot back here. I can't, you know, nothing I can do about it. So. Okay, now we'll do the back of the tuners. Polish the back of those, and then we'll be done with the cleaning of the guitar aspect, and then we can start doing the setup. And we're at 2 hours almost on the video. Whatever, I'm okay with that, you know. Sometimes my estimates go over, and that's fine. Is what it is, and that's what it is. Is what it is, and that's what it is. You know? what it is, and that's what it is.
Major, now would be an excellent time to initiate transport.
You're not transporting anything. Captain?
Major, please respond. You're a sight for sore eyes.
You kind of want to be careful to not touch your rag that has polish or wax on it to the satin finish or semi-gloss finish. Otherwise, you will polish a polish mark into it. Simple as that.
Stay where you are.
Again, if I were to do that by accident, it wouldn't. Excuse me. It wouldn't be that big of a deal because this is not a $1,000 guitar or anything. I would be disappointed, but I wouldn't be bouncing off my walls for 6 months over it. It would just be one of those things, and it looks like I did not touch my rag to any of it, so that is good.
Star Trek Enterprise, followed by Hunter.
Now I can flip the guitar over and do the other side of the tuners, and we can start doing the setup on it, and then that'll be it. Next guitar.
Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever because it boosts your free testosterone and your total testosterone. To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text PLAY to 231231.
Nugenix help me feel better. I feel stronger. I have more energy. I have the energy.
Okay.
And strength that makes me feel awesome.
This guitar is looking pretty darn good, considering it's been semi-good taken care of. Semi-good. I think the guy said he bought it brand new in 2005, so he is the original owner of it. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he took okay care of it. He took okay, semi-decent care of it. I'll put it that way. But it looks a lot better than it did just a little while ago. Look at that. Oop, I gotta move the camera, I'm sorry. We will do this again. Yeah, look at the guitar now. Looks pretty darn spiffy. So we will do the top of the knobs and put the knobs back. And the knobs aren't graduated or have any numbers or any set screws on them, so we could put the knobs back in any position. It doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that you have the knob back and it's in one of its splines. Otherwise you're going to have a difficult time putting the knob back. So you just kind of turn it until you hit one of the splines, and then you press it in. And that's it. See? And then you turn it and make sure the knob is on straight and not cockeyed. Otherwise when you turn it, it'll do that. And if it does do that, you just kind of look at it, and when you see the high spot, you push it back down, and it'll be good. There you go. There we go. The guitar is 100% complete again. And I do have to apologize for my voice again. My voice is just really bad because of this hoarse throat. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and start the setup on it. Excuse me. Apologize. I keep apologizing for my coughing, so I'm sorry about that. I do not have my 16 channel mixer in here, so I can't, you know, when I feel a cough or a sneeze coming on, I can't press the cough button and mute that out for you guys. So I am sorry about that. I do apologize for that. But here we go. I apologize, guys. I'm so sorry about my coughing. My goodness, I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I apologize. Clip off a little end here. There we go. It's a little better. That's a little better. And another end here. There we go. That's a little better. I don't like guitar string ends protruding out. It's just unnecessary. This a half step down. Maybe I won't, maybe I will. We'll see. We'll see if I can get this a half step. I could go a quarter, but a quarter's not going to make much of a difference, so I have to go half. Again, I apologize for my voice. I'm losing my voice again. Pretty good. I'll see about the pickup. I'm really losing my voice, guys. I apologize. Just one of those things. I apologize for that. There's not much I can do about my voice. My back is starting to kill me too, guys. I really apologize. I'm still recovering from my from my really bad back episode. I almost had to go to the hospital twice, I'll be honest with you. Here a couple of weeks ago, week and a half ago, I almost had to go to the hospital. I didn't, because I know what the hospital is going to do. They're going to prescribe me medications that do not work. They're going to send me to specialists that have already seen me, and it's a waste of time, effort, and money. So I manned up and I wrote it out when I had really bad nights that I was up until 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just one of those things, you know. Okay, let's check the give it another final little tune here and check the intonation. And it is off a little bit, so I'm gonna have to use my other screwdriver. off, so I'll adjust it. Perfect. Just a tad off. And I've done this so many times over the years on so many guitars that I can literally put intonation of a guitar within about plus or minus 0.01%, and I'm not exaggerating about that, and I'm not kidding about that. Perfect. That one's almost perfect. That one's pretty good. So I do it by ear, and not to brag, but I have a really good ear for tune, tone, intonation, and all of that. See, that's off. That's very close. So I can tune a guitar this way. I can tune pianos without a tuner, unless I am in an environment that is really noisy and has a lot of ambient or outside noise. Then I do use the help of my Peterson Auto Strobe 590 tuner. I will do that. Perfect. Way off. Almost. Almost. Very close. So yeah, I just have that aptitude and that ability to do that. Again, I'm not patting myself on the back for it. I just, over the years, 35 plus years of doing this, I know how to do it. Now listen. Perfectly tuned and intonated guitar. little bit low on that one. There we go, perfect. 2 hours and 13 minutes. We're pretty much done with this guitar. And I will call this video done at next commercial because I am really tired and I'm starting to not feeling well. So, but yeah, I've been waiting to do this guitar for just about 2.5 months. And boy, look at it. She is a beaut. And she is a 2005 BC Rich, the Dagger. With 2 humbuckers. They are not original. They are Seymour Duncan Pegasus and Sentient pickups. I do have the original pickups for it, which I may swap back out and use these pickups for something else. But we'll see. This guitar is kind of a keeper, but kind of isn't. I know that's kind of hard to explain, but you know, I originally was going to get this guitar as a keeper to add to my personal collection because the guy had described the guitar as being mint, and it turned out the guitar was not mint condition. So thus it wasn't mint. There's not much more to say other than that. He said it was mint. It wasn't quite mint. When I brought that to his attention, he said it was mint to him. So I was like, okay. But I still went through the deal and traded him for the guitar, solely based on the fact that it's a guitar that I like, which is a BC Rich, the Dagger. And these are kind of not rare, but they are few and far between. You don't see too many of them too often. So I will take pictures of this tomorrow and have this on my Klasic Guitar Facebook and Twitter. And if somebody wants to buy it, I will probably have, with these pickups in it, I will have $780 for this guitar. If this guitar were bone stock, it would still be a $450, $475 guitar. You know, it's not in the best condition, but it is definitely not in the worst. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10 now, this guitar is a 7. There is problems with the finish, but I've done quite a bit of work tonight with the finish, and it is far better than it was. The frets and fretboard are far better than they were. It's got about 10% fret wear on the first 6 to 7 frets. The rest of the frets are perfect. There's no problems with this guitar whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. Other than that, that's what this guitar is. So I'm pretty happy with it. I've been waiting a long time to do this guitar.
Identify yourself. I'm Captain Jonathan Archer of the Earth Starship Enterprise.
Do you admit, Captain Archer, that you gave aid and comfort to a vessel fleeing the Empire?
We answered a distress call.
So I'm pretty happy with it. So next commercial break, I'm going to call this video done. And I am really far behind on a lot of guitars. I think I looked at my list today and I have 13 guitars to do. I'm gonna finally try and finish the ground issue that is on that Epiphone Les Paul 7-string and that Epiphone Les Paul Gold Top that I've been having a problem with the ground issue. I'm gonna try and fix those tomorrow. I have 2 Ibanez Project guitars to finish. I have this Yamaha Telecaster to finish. I have this antique yellow Strat to finish. I have that Fernandez Telecaster to finish. I have this brand new in the box Epiphone Les Paul limited edition custom shop to finish. I have this brand new in the box Epiphone Thunderbird bass to do. I have this brand new in the box Harley Benton Les Paul to do. So I have quite a few guitars that I'm way behind in doing. So that being said, I should have all those guitars done within the next few weeks, 2-3 weeks, you know. Now that the weather is changing, my back should be less problematic to the weather until it turns really hot, because as you guys know, my back really acts badly when it is either really hot, really cold, or really hot. So I will probably start having problems again with my back in June, July, August. It's just par for the course. And I'm losing my voice again. So that being said, I have a lot of projects I'm way behind on. 2, 3, yeah, about 13 guitars I'm way behind on that I intended to have done by this time. And you know, it is what it is, and that's what it is. Life happens, things happen, and there's not much you can do about it. You can hiff and haw and moan and harangue and complain about it, but what's all said and done, you just have to persevere and continue on. It was a good day today. It was St. Patrick's Day. I sold an amplifier today, a Vox AD 60 VTX for $220. So I'm happy about that. I sold a guitar day before yesterday. I have a guitar waiting for a customer to pick up that I did a full professional setup on. So life is pretty good. I can't complain too much. Can't complain too much. One can always complain, but can't complain too much. So I will wait till the next commercial on my favorite show here, and we'll close this video out. And see you again, hopefully tomorrow. Probably with this Epiphone Les Paul limited edition custom shop 7-string. See if I can fix the issue on the ground issue on that finally.
The Bay Area police have their fair share of unique cases,
He's a pipe in his head.
and there's only one man who
Okay, everyone, so thank you for joining me on this very special St. Patrick's Day stream for this 2005 BC Rich, the Dagger. And I wholeheartedly appreciate you joining me. And the show is brought to you by Guitar Center of Glendora. I'm not wearing their shirt today because it's St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing my famous St. Patrick's Day shirt. But thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time, and happy guitaring.